It is a matter of great satisfaction to me that this society has completed 5 useful years of life. As you know, I have been associated with the society since its very inception. I am naturally glad that it has made great strides in its work of promoting studies and research in agricultural statistics. In particular, I note that the society has, by organizing courses of training in sample surveys during the last 2 years, stimulated interest in the improvement of agricultural statistics. The society has so far published 3 volumes of its journal, which has earned for it a wide appreciation in other countries. I attach very great importance to the collection of accurate agricultural statistics because these statistics are fundamental not only for planning developmental measures but also for assessing the progress of the 5-year plan that we have just formulated and which we propose to put into operation in the coming year. In my previous address, I drew attention to the pressing problem of obtaining reliable estimates of our food production by improvement in the area and yield statistics of crops. It is therefore with satisfaction that I have learnt that the method of random sampling for crop estimation, which was in an experimental stage a few years back, has not been established as an annual measure in practically all states of the Union, and yield estimates of wheat and rice are at present available for almost the entire country. Steps for improvement are, I understand, also being taken to improve the accuracy and coverage of the statistics of crop acreages. These improvements broadly consist in enforcing a stricter and scientific supervision over the panchayat's work in regions where this agency is available for collecting area statistics by complete enumeration of individual fields. In those areas where this agency does not exist or where the land is not cadastrally surveyed, a suitable sampling method appears feasible according to the results of investigations that have been carried out, at least as an interim measure until an agency which can be entrusted with complete enumeration is established in regions which have been surveyed already and the cadastral survey carried out in hitherto unsurveyed tracts. I am told that the rice acreage in Koraput districts of Orissa, which is totally unsurveyed, has been successfully estimated, perhaps for the first time in history last year by random sampling. I am glad to learn that field investigations on sampling basis for the estimation of livestock numbers and of fish production have been carried out with encouraging results, and an extension of this work is contemplated. It is in fact gratifying that a comprehensive 5-year program for consolidating the work done so far in the improvement of agricultural statistics has been prepared and has received the approval of the Planning Commission. With the implementation of the program, statistics of our agricultural production will be placed on a permanently sound footing basis, and I hope the government will give it the necessary priority. Today, I want to place before you a somewhat different aspect in the collection of statistics. I appreciate that for devising new sampling techniques, and yet I feel that they have already got in the records of the Panchayat a mine of information which we have not cared to use as much as we should have done. In our deep search for newer methods of sampling and emphasis upon the need for trained technicians, we seem to have forgotten the value of the village papers in furnishing us with information on the different prevailing types of tenancy, the size and utilization of the farmers holding, the extent of its fragmentation, and a variety of other agricultural matters. A cultivator's holding is the primary economic unit of agriculture, and unless we relate all agricultural statistics to the cultivator's holding, we cannot properly plan developmental measures. There was a time when economists used to think that small holdings cultivated by peasant proprietors give the best yield. But today, on account of the introduction of mechanical devices and instruments, larger sized holdings are preferred. I am not sure if any data are available at any rate in this country which led scientifically to the conclusion that larger holdings necessarily give a better yield per acre. We are not aware as to how much of the land is held by agriculturists and how much by others. We do not know whether this difference in ownership makes any difference to the productivity of land, nor do we know the relative productive capacity of holdings of different sizes and how fragmentation affects productivity. I am aware that a few village surveys have been carried out to throw light on these questions, but the material is too scanty for valid conclusions to be drawn for the whole country or even for any large part of it. This matter has to be investigated more deeply if a firm conclusion is to be drawn one way or the other. It is not easy to elicit information on these questions by interviewing the cultivator. He is backward and illiterate and often fails to appreciate the object with which this information is sought. He has first to be assured that the collection of this information is for his own good, and this can be acquired only by association with such work persons who are trained from amongst the cultivators themselves. It is for these reasons that I attach particular importance to the extraction of information from the panchayat's records. Whatever might have been the reasons in the past for mistrusting the work of a government servant, that of a village officer is different today. The panchayat officer is now a servant of the people. He belongs to the village, enjoys a position and prestige, and has full knowledge of the conditions and difficulties of his people. Of course, he is not a statistician, nor can he understand the principles of sampling and other modern methods of collecting statistics. He cannot, without proper training, use the scientific methods of crop cutting experiments for estimating the yield per acre, but in matters such as tenancy, size of holdings, fragmentation and utilization of land, I believe his information is very dependable. A panchayat system working in cadastrally surveyed areas is a unique system.